Hey guys. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another live coaching. It's August 4th, and it's been a busy week. I've had a little bit of windsurfing. This is from my session last weekend after we did the live stream, and it was a very fun session. And I haven't been back on the water since then, but it looks good today. And I think the next couple days are also going to be good. And we did something pretty cool on Friday. We had a VIP Zoom coaching as part of the Shove It course. So there's a Shove It course that's going on right now. You can join it on my.windsurfingmasterclass.com if you want to learn to shove it. I'll pull up a video of the shove it's in a second. We can talk about what a shove it is and who is primed to learn shove it's. But first, let's just say our hellos. Again, this footage is from my session on the weekend. We got Ragnar in the chat. Hola. Got 5 Swedes in Pozo eating pizza and watching the live coaching. I love it. That sounds like the setup of a joke, but I love it. There's a shove it. That's a shove it. All right, Rasmus says sailing in silt. Cool. We've got Jorg, who had a session this week. Jorg is in the shove it course. So is Ragnar. Phil, hello. Hey, dude. Phil, how is it going? Long time. We got Mark. Mark, we're going to talk about your tack. We got a tack to talk about. Evening, Greg. We got Matt. Matt is also in the shove it course. He had two sessions. He's been working on the shove it exercises. If you want to learn the shove it or to improve your tacks, we're going to be talking about both tacks and shove it's today. If you want to improve either, there are courses on windsurfingmasterclass.com on the website. You can go to my.windsurfingmasterclass.com. That brings you straight to the online course portal. If you just go to windsurfingmasterclass.com, you can also get there and see the schedule for upcoming masterclasses, in-person masterclasses, and do online coaching as well. So we do some online coaching through Zoom, for example, which is pretty fun. It's fun for me to see the progress that is happening all over the world. So if any of those are interesting to you, if you're looking to improve, check all those out. Got links somewhere. I like that wave. I'm going to go back a second. This is an example of a wave that I'll be happy with on the water. And what I'm looking for when I'm judging my own riding is the connectivity of everything. So when you're just starting out, it makes sense to focus on one turn, one move at a time, and putting all of your attention into that turn and the carve. And then as you get better, it's linking a second and a third and trying to connect those together. And then once you get better, you go back to focusing on just one turn, one move. You're trying to do the 360s or trying to do those cutbacks even harder, even more carving, bigger aerials. And then as you get better, then you're trying to link the turns again and trying to get more seamless transitions. And then as you get better, you're trying to get even better goiters, better turns, tweaked airs, and you're focusing on one thing. And then as you get better, and it's this endless cycle of linking it all. And this is an example that I'm personally happy with because it has a lot of variety, has the big turns, some carves, and then also a trick quite quickly together. And so it's a lot of what I'm trying to do. This accomplishes a lot of what I'm working on the water. So that's a little success for me. I like seeing stuff like that, because it means that it's working. It's also, remember, it's important to have fun. I think it's good to mix things up on the waves and, try and grab the lip with your hand. It's not all about being radical, doing radical turns, but yeah, connecting with the ocean. We've got Stina. Stina had a session in middle. Stina is one of our Danish charging champions up in hands thumb, which gets really good. Denmark is one of the windsurfing secrets of the world. If you ask people in Germany, they know that Denmark gets good, but if you ask people in the US or other parts of the world, I think they have no idea how good Denmark gets. Oh, here in this video, I wish that I went for an off the lip instead of this 360. I've got a good bottom turn. It's a good section, but it's the wrong section for a 360. The wave is breaking too much in front of me. If it was breaking here, how it's breaking here, it would be a great section for a 360, but it's not. And my form is good. Everything is right except the section. And it shows that the section, when it comes to moves like 360s and aerials, is more important than anything else at all. And so getting that timing right, like this would have been much better for a tweaked aerial or a big off the lip, but I made a bad judgment call and went for the 360. Reading the wave, reading the ocean is so important. All right, getting back to our hellos, we got Graham in the chat in South Africa. Broke his toe. Ouch. Broke the big toe. I've broken a little toe. Also painful. I imagine the big toe is a lot worse. Oy. Harold got a light wind session. Love it. We got G. Luke, Third Avenue. Someone was just talking to me about what it's like windsurfing in the Bay Area. They're looking for somewhere to go to university, and I said, Bay Area is amazing. You've got the coast, you got the bay. Hopefully, I'm not spitting bad advice, telling lies. Suna, Suna and Jakob had a great session. Awesome, love it. Rocky in the chat crying because there's no wind. Ay, ay, ay. Maybe you have to drive up to Denmark. Not sure how far Denmark is from where you are. Denmark is reliable. We're going to be coaching in Denmark in September. I'm really looking forward to it. I love it up in Klitmøller and Hanstholm. It's a beautiful part of the world. Very fun windsurfing, and I haven't been this year. Normally, I'm traveling up during the summer a few times for the forecast, but this year I've had a different schedule. I was in Morocco in June, and then I've come back to Hawaii, and I'll go back to Europe in the next week or so, and I'll go up in September. But that, when I go up for the masterclass, will be my first time being up there this year. And normally I'm up there quite a bit, so a little bit different this year. We got Mario in the chat. Mario is in Oman. We were doing some of the one-on-one coaching together, the Zoom live coaching. We're working on wave riding and aerials, and it's so cool for me to see progress on the other side of the world and working together, all of that stuff. I'm going to point out one thing, and then I want to talk about shove-its, and we're going to get into everything else. So don't get too impatient with me. But this kind of cutback, this one-handed cutback, where you're going for an off the lip and just taking off the backhand, it doesn't have to be as radical as this, is one of the best exercises that you can do to improve your cutbacks and your wave riding. Why is that? The primary reason why is that you can't use the sail. You have to use your body and the board because you don't have your hand on the sail, obviously. If you take off your front hand, you can still use the sail to power the turn because the backhand can sheet in enough and the sail's not as stable. Front hand off turns are still very radical. But the backhand off turn is a special kind of training because you're not using the sail anymore. So it means that you have to be on your heels. The board has to be in the high five position and the butt needs to be low. Otherwise, nothing's going to happen because you can't use the sail to help you out. And so if you want to do one thing in your next wave riding session to improve your cutbacks, do 5 of these backhand off cutbacks. The first few that you try will be weird feeling, difficult, and different. But you'll start to figure it out, and it trains you to build the attention between your heels and the board rather than thinking of the power mainly coming from the sale. All right, I'm going to load the shove-its just to talk about shove-its quickly, and then we're going to get into the Facebook group in a second. One second here. Where is it? I just had everything queued up and then it is not anymore. So Rocky says it's an 8-hour drive to Miller from where he is. Yeah, that is pretty far. That is pretty far to make it work. All right, I'm gonna get this loaded up. Second try. Let's see if this works. Here we go. This should work. So this is a shove-it. What is a shove-it? This is a shove-it. So a shove-it is a move, comes from backside wave riding. We got David in the chat. Hello, David. Where you go horizontal, you can kick the board out, and you get powered up by the wind. You can do it off a wave or even off of flat water, like in this example. And so this video compilation comes from the online shove-it course, the Shove-it Success Express. And that course is available on the Windsurfing Masterclass platform. Supporting the course, there's a WhatsApp group that is just for the Shove-it course, and we will do regular Zooms as well. So we had our first one on Friday, and we're going to do another one at some point in the future. And so if you have footage or questions, you can get coaching from me and other people in the group. And so this is a shove-it. It's a radical move, but one that's very accessible. If you can jump, if you're riding a freestyle board or a wave board, it's a move that you can start trying. It's not, it's not radical like a forward or a back loop. It's slightly more technical than some other moves, and there is some fear to get over with the horizontal lean. But in general, it's a move that's radical, fun, and very accessible. It's a lot more accessible than you think. The Shove It course is available on the Windsurfing Masterclass website. It's my.windsurfingmasterclass.com. You can sign up. Again, we've got a lot of support with the WhatsApp group and the Zoom calls. I'm confident there's exercises that you can do at home. So even if there's no wind, you can be working on your shove-its. I'm confident that if you sign up for it, if you do the work, you will learn the shove-it, which is a very fun move. It's fun. You can throw it in going out when you've got a little bit of swell, or you can tie it into wave rides like a backside off the lip. So shove-it. This is the shove-it. It's very accessible if you're comfortable doing straight jumps and doing a little bit of wave riding, so you have some gear control. You don't have to have a very high level to do it, but definitely not on a free ride board, not on a board that's 130 liters, and not if you're not comfortable jumping. You want to have some comfort, some experience with moving the rig around, maybe some wave riding experience. All right, let's get into the Facebook group. That's the shove-it. If you want to sign up, I put the link somewhere, but you can find it my.windsurfingmasterclass.com, or if you just go to windsurfingmasterclass.com and click join the coaching portal. Stina is saying it is worth it to drive up to Klitmuller. And I agree. I agree. Okay. We're going to get the Facebook group loaded up and dive in. I'm going to refresh this in case someone posted while we were chatting. Okay. We are live. All right. Now, first up, we've got this tack from Mark. And Mark has been working on his tacks over the past year on his 86 liter board, which is a relatively small board, and getting them on flat water and increasing the success in this well. This is awesome. This is a great tack. I love seeing people post their successes. And if you want to work on your tacks, there is a online course for tacks as well. Shovets and Tacks are the online courses at the moment, and that's on the Windsurfing Masterclass website. And I'm very confident in the course. A lot of people started the course around 2 to 3 out of 10 tack consistency, and now have 7, 8 out of 10 tacks. So great course. I'm gonna add some updates to it and have some Zoom sessions as well for the people in the tack course. So if you have enrolled in the tack course, look out for my email about the Zooms if that's something that's interesting for you. And if you haven't enrolled in the tack course and want to, now is a good time because then you're going to catch all of that new stuff. I think this looks awesome, Mark. I'm so happy to see such a clean, consistent tack. The one comment that I would make is that you can have your upper body a little bit farther back. And so you do that by keeping this front leg straight a little bit longer, because there's a moment here where you're heavy around the front of the mast. And so if you keep that front leg straight like this a little bit longer, then your transition is going to be more snappy, more like a dance move, which is what we want it to be like. We want it to be like a dance move. And you could also, in the spirit of the dance move, this is one of the concepts from the online tack course, really focus on that ballerina pirouette around the mast, nice and upright. But this is a good example of success as well. You're making the solid tack. So the two minor points I would work on are keeping that front leg straight a little bit longer so that you're not so slow in the transition, because then your weight around the front is going to be less severe on the board, right? Because you start pressing on the nose here pretty hard, and you're pressing until about here, and then you're transitioning, and we want it to be pretty light footwork. So you're doing the shimmy shuffle. That's a concept from the tack course. You can practice this on land. So it might be good to Mark to practice some of the shimmy shuffle and to help speed up that footwork. And then the second thing to think about is really getting that upright ballerina pirouette also. But they look really solid. All right. We have a post from Thomas, who is a big fan of the hip harness, and he is saying it again. You can convert a waist harness in 5 minutes with rope. Don't listen to people who comment on what it's like to your private parts. I don't know anything about that. Use the trochanter major bone, which will help the load transfer in your body and makes it easier. You need to use longer lines. You want the lines to be stiff. So it's an interesting thing. I said I was going to do a test on this, and I haven't. I've sailed with my waist harness very low, and I think in a similar position to where Thomas is riding his, and it does feel good. I think it does feel good. I don't find that it feels so good that I'm going to go out of my way to change my harness lines and stuff. But I don't have back issues. I don't have um, control issues. I'm fairly strong, And so having my waist harness works for me, whereas I could see someone else who wants to have a more powerful energy transfer. I'm not sure if I'm saying any of this right, but I think you have better, you're better leverage maybe, or you're using your body better. I don't know exactly why it's better, why there's more power, but yeah, I think it can work. Um, I really like the loose harness. Billy's very against this. It's he says that if people do this, they have bad sailing stance. I don't think that's necessarily true. I think a seat harness and a chest harness can both promote bad stance, whereas the waist harness, it's promotes better stance, which is maybe why waist harnesses are so popular now. But the seat harness has a lot of benefits, and you see people who have back issues switching to a seat harness and their back issues disappear. So seat harnesses or hip harnesses can be really useful, especially if you have issues with your back. Um, and that's just a fact. Like I know enough people that it's not a weird one-off who have had back issues and switch to a seat harness and the back issues disappear. I don't have back issues and I use my waist harness and it's fine. I don't have pain. I don't have any issues. So I'm fine with the waist harness. But if you do, I think exploring something like this is worth it. And I like the different thought, even if it turns out to not be great for everyone. I like trying new things, so I'm gonna give it a try. I know I keep saying that, but I'm going to do it. I could do it here on Maui. It's fairly easy to modify the harness, but my issue is I'm gonna need quite a bit longer lines, but maybe I can work that out here. So Rasmus is saying, how is the conversion done? So how I would do it on my harness. So I have the Dakine, the travel Renegade Travel Light is what it's called, and it has a string on the back, I guess for kiters to use. And so I would attach two ropes to that, carry them through the legs, and attach it to the bar, and that would just keep it down, keeps the harness down. Um, Greg is saying the quick releasability of the waist harness can become important when being worked by heavy waves and getting under the sail. That's also a really good point. And again, my huge asterisk on all of this is the waist harness works for me. I don't have issues with the waist harness. I assume if it works for me, it also works for a lot of other people. But if you're having issues, then this is an option to explore. So if you have back issues, or even if you don't have issues, maybe it's something that's worth testing. But it's not like it's going to be 100% better for everyone. Thomas maybe says that it would be, and I can understand that argument. But I think if you don't have the issues and it works, then you don't have to change what you're doing. But it's always good to experiment and try different things. Ragnar saying that wearing the loose harness has helped him a lot. Yeah, I love the loose harness. I wear a super loose harness. It falls down low, moves around. I like it. All right, we got a question from Cristiano about using a 490 on Neil Pride on an 8.5 Ezzy Cheetah. And I don't know what the bend is like on the Neil Pride. In general, most of the sails, I believe, are using constant curve mass nowadays, and some are using flex top. I think very few now are using hard top mass, and those are your three main categories of mass. And within those, there are different bend curves, but especially when it comes to the Ezzy sails, as long as it's a constant curve, it's going to work okay. If you if it's too much flex top or too much or hard top, see, but at the end of the day, it all comes down to feeling. So if you have the mass and you have the sail, give it a try. All right, we've got a question from Mike. He says, question for the wave sail shape history buffs in the group. He's had the luxury of some goofy high wind sailing lately, so he's had using two infrequently used sails. His 3.7 from 12 years ago and a late 90s, so that's almost 30 years ago, 3.3 Neil Pride core. The striking difference is in the rigging. The 3.3 is a massive pain to downhaul, and they have almost the same luff length, but the boom length is disproportionately longer. In other words, the newer wave sail has more surface area lower down. Is this just a general change in sail design over the decades, or were these two sails also designed for different conditions? Yeah, maybe both. Maybe both. So sail design has definitely changed to have more area lower down. There's more positive roach, is what that's called, foot roach, and leech roach. Are those sails designed for different conditions? Maybe. What was being sailed in the 90s was a little bit different than what was being sailed 12 years ago. A 12-year-old 3.7 was maybe designed more with the high wind sailing that's going on in Europe now, whereas in the 90s that was less common. It still existed, but it was less common. Uh, I'm not sure though. I'm not sure, but interesting question. I'd love to see some photos of the old sail that we can see. Let's ask. Can you post a photo of the old sail? All right. Next up, we've got a video from Ragnar. So Ragnar is in Pozo, but this is from his session back home. He edited on the trip. It was fun at a gravel reef point break. He was focused on his placement and timing and less focused on the technique. Cool. Okay, let's watch. All right, Vado. All right, let's watch. Pretty cool. Ragnar, I love it that you're always finding these spots, different spots, and you're the only one on the water. Oh, there's someone else on the water, looks like. Whoa, that looked good. Yeah, focusing on timing and placement is so important. If you have the fundamentals, everything else starts to fall in place. So the fundamentals are wave selection, where you are on that wave, and the time that you are on that wave. So selection, placement, timing. Those are the fundamentals. And if you have those, you can do good turns. Even if you have all the technique in the world, but you don't have those three, it's impossible to do good turns or a good wave ride. Doing well on the wave requires selection, placement, and timing. And even if you don't have the technique or your technique is not as developed, but you do have the fundamentals, your wave ride will look nice and flowing, and you'll keep speed, which is one of the things I look for when I'm evaluating a wave ride. So what I like to see is that this cutback has a full turn. If we look at how many degrees are turned, it's a full 180 degrees turned, and he really keeps his speed out of the turn. And so that's what I look for when I'm evaluating cutbacks, as well as how close it is to the critical part of the lip, how much it's on the rail. You can see here he's coming up right to the critical part of the wave, getting on the rail, on the heels of the board, carving it around. Beautiful, really beautiful. Got a question from Barrick that he appreciates my coaching. He tried to find a link to make a donation. Do I have something set up? Yep, I do actually, and I will mention it in a second once we finish going through Ragnar's footage. So all this is solid, Ragnar. What I would suggest is looking for these sections and trying to hit them not beyond the section, but right at this corner. So you're hitting this corner of the whitewater, and I call these the corner pocket, and they're very reliable to find and very good for getting your timing right in the waves. So looking for corner pockets is a really good strategy for improving your wave riding and getting, it's like a cheat code for getting radical hits. And so I want you to hit these, and you can do it. Your bottom turns before were a lot tighter than this, so I know you have the ability to get here. So aim for this corner rather than beyond the corner, and that is a tip that everyone can take advantage of. I do it. The corner pockets, it's really like a cheat code, looking for these corner pockets and hitting them right on the corner. Ooh, swimming. If you can avoid it, don't let go. Don't let go. You're almost always better off holding onto your gear. The gear floats, can sail away. Almost always. All right, awesome. So I'll show you. Actually, we just go to windsurfingmasterclass.com, and this is the rough website. I'm going to improve this at some point this year. And there are a few different ways that you can get more coaching or contribute or anything. So if you want one-on-one coaching, we do that through Zoom. If you want to apply for an in-person masterclass, click here and you'll see the schedule. There's really only one left this year, and it's pretty much full. Maybe there's one spot left in Denmark in September. And then there's a big wave training as well that we're trying to put together, but that's much more specific in terms of ability and price. So the big wave training is very, very specific. But we have some people interested, and it'd be good to get one more person for the big wave training. So if you want to ride Jaws, for example, and it's sort of like the Everest of windsurfing, and then therefore it's a lot of work, takes a lot of ability. Budget is closer to climbing Everest budget. But if that sounds like something for you, then we're putting together a program for that. If you want to support the community, there are a few different ways to do that. So there are, first off, thank you to the people who are supporting. So we've got Christoph, Dennis, Eric, Evgeny, Greg, Jeff, Jörg, Matt, Ragnar, Roland, Samuli, and Tomas for they're on the gold tier or higher. And so there's these different monthly donation things, and the lowest level supports the coaching. And then there are some WhatsApp groups, and we do some occasional live coachings as well that are just for those supporters. All right, let's get back into it. If you are in the Shove It course, make sure you join the community. So it's good to post the videos or questions that you have in the community, and you can get there by following this link on the Shove It course. And that way everything is in the same place, so it's easy for me to go through, so I can give you feedback and answer your questions. Also, there's a WhatsApp group set up for this course. The link for that is in the community. So if you want to join the WhatsApp group, go to the community. All right, yeah, I'm thinking of doing some gear. Looks like t-shirts and caps and hoodies are the most requested, so I'll see about making some gear if you guys want to support the coaching and have some stylish gear. So I'm going to look into this, and I'll post it in the Facebook group when I have something set up. All right, like that, we are set up, caught up. If you are windsurfing this week, I hope that you have a good session. It's windy now. I can see the trees moving out the window. I'm hoping the next couple days are going to have more swell. I'm really looking forward to getting on the water today, tomorrow, Tuesday. If you want to learn a new move, the shove it is a really accessible move to learn as long as you have a certain base level. You're able to do some jumps. You have some comfort doing turns in the wave riding. They don't have to be radical turns, but some comfort doing turns, hope some backside turns, because it is very similar to a backside wave riding motion. And you can do that on the Windsurfing Masterclass website, this course. All right, I'm going to sign off. I hope you guys have a windy, wonderful week. I'll see you next week, Sunday. Post your questions, comments, concerns, photos, videos, all of the above in the Facebook group so that I can discuss it next week, Sunday. I read everything that's posted, and I look forward to seeing what you guys are doing. If you're getting on the water, if it's good conditions, if you're frustrated, if you've got things you need to learn or successes to celebrate. I look forward to checking all of it out. So make sure that you share your journey with me and everyone else in the community in the Facebook group. I'm signing off. Take care. See you next week, Sunday. Bye.